This is officially the first video that I'm filming after I got married. So I got married 2 weekends ago and I have since put up 2 videos on my YouTube channel, but both of them were pre-filmed. So this is the first one that I'm actually sitting down to film after being a married woman. It has been the best couple weeks of my life, and so I have a ton of different videos that I want to do revolving around wedding things, but this was the first one I wanted to come on and do because these are non-traditional things that we did at our wedding that I don't regret, and then a couple things that I do regret. I'm getting a ton of messages from brides who are either getting married later this year or even next year that are saying they would love my take on a few of the things that I asked you guys about while I was in the planning process, and they wanted to know which one we went with and if I regret it or not. I hope all of the wedding content is not too much, but I literally have like 35 video ideas that I want to do. But today I just wanted to sit down and film this one. If my voice sounds a little weird, I'm still getting over being sick. I got sick the day after our wedding and was out of commission for an entire week, and then I'm still kind of healing through that. Before I get started on all of the wedding content, I did want to give a huge shout out to Seed for being my brand partner for this video. So this is the Seed DSL1 Daily Symbiotic, and I have been talking about this for, I believe, about 3 months now. I'm about to start, I think, my 4th month on this. So typically I take this in the morning before anything else goes into my mouth, before my coffee or anything. I just take it with water. It does really well on an empty stomach, but I did not do that this morning because I knew I was going to be filming this video. So I have 2 of the capsules right here and I have my water. I'm going to take these really fast and then I'm going to explain the best parts about this. I have to throw my head back when I take a pill, otherwise it won't go down. The Seed DSO1 Daily Symbiotic is great for whole body health, cardiovascular, gut health, skin health, but my favorite part about it is how I feel like it helps me a lot with bloating. It also helps keep me regular, which is something that I've never experienced before. I swear that alone also helps with the bloat, just because like everything's going into your system and it's coming out the way it's supposed to. Nothing's like sitting around lingering. If you have taken probiotics before and haven't felt a big difference, it could be because the capsule is not designed to survive your stomach acid, bile salts, and digestive enzymes. Seed is different. Seed is designed to survive. Probiotics are most effective if they make it to your colon alive, and so Seed has a ViaCap technology where it's actually a capsule in a capsule. So the first capsule's kind of taken all the big hits from all of your stomach acid and everything as it makes its way through the digestive tract, and the probiotic is actually inside of the second capsule, which is how it makes it to your colon alive. If you guys want to give the Seed DSO1 Daily Symbiotic a try, go ahead and use my code Fowler25 at the link below and you can get 25% off your DSO1. I am so excited and proud that Seed has come back to be another channel partner and sponsor another video because they are such incredible and responsible brand partners, and I love my Seed DSO1. So make sure you use Fowler25 if you want 25% off your order. Now let's get into the non-traditional things that we did at our wedding that I would redo in a heartbeat. So the very first thing is we planned our wedding in 5 months. This wasn't necessarily for any reason other than our venue had a date in the month that we liked available for this year. We got married at the Hermitage Hotel here in Nashville. It was local for all of our friends and family that live here, and we really loved that it had a beautiful area for a ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception all in the same location, so we wouldn't have to deal with transportation. It was also all indoors because I do not do well with the rain, which is very lucky for us because it was the weekend of Hurricane Helene. It did affect some of our friends and family being able to make it to the wedding, which was very sad, but I am just so grateful and thankful that everyone is okay and safe so we can celebrate with them in the future. But we reached out to this venue and they asked us what month we wanted to get married. We said probably September. We were calling for 2025 and they were like, we actually have a date this September if you're interested. That was 5 months out. And I was like, let's do it. Grant was super excited. I was super excited. And I didn't really realize how quickly we would have to be planning things. The biggest reason that I really like that we planned it so quickly is not because it was less stressful, but it gave me less time to like think on all of the decisions. I kind of just had to like pick something, make a decision, and move on to the next thing. I am the type of person that if you could give me 4 years to decide on wedding florals, I would take 3 years and 364 days to decide. But if you say you've got to pick your wedding florals by next week, I will have my dream florals designed by then. So I think having a shorter timeline definitely helped us with that. I did my own makeup, which I absolutely recommend. I have a whole tutorial step-by-step, every single product I used on wedding morning. My makeup looked great all the way through the end of the evening. I really love that I looked like myself, and there's also so many things that are going on the day of the wedding that are out of your control, and that is one thing that you have full control over. So I did not do my own hair, but I did do my own makeup, and I definitely recommend that. We also got married on a Friday, so traditionally at most venues, a Saturday wedding is going to be the most expensive, so we saved money by getting married on a Friday. It was also the only date that the venue had available for this year, but we really liked that we did a Friday wedding. The downside to that is that anyone that's traveling from out of town has to take that day off of work, or possibly has to leave on Thursday after work and drive some during the night or travel. But we kind of talked to all of our friends and family that would need to be traveling before we actually reserved and put our deposit down, and everyone was like, yep, we'd be excited to make the Friday happen. So that saved us a good amount of money, and it also gave us kind of the whole weekend to celebrate with friends and family. Next up is we did a welcome party instead of a rehearsal dinner. So I know a lot of people might do both, or they will just do a rehearsal dinner. We felt that doing a rehearsal dinner was just going to exclude some people, and so we invited everyone that was coming to the wedding to the welcome party, and it was not a sit-down dinner. We had a full open bar, and then we had heavy past hors d'oeuvres and like some really big stations of like charcuterie and fruit and dessert. But the past hors d'oeuvres were heavy enough that you could definitely fill up on them if you wanted to. But a lot of people came by, they had a drink, they had a few appetizers, they said hey. We rented out an art gallery for this, which was so fun. It was walking distance from the Hermitage Hotel, so anyone who was staying at the hotel from out of town, we just like walked over together. It was absolutely incredible. But most people came, they had a drink, had a couple appetizers, went out and did their own dinner with their family. They got to pick whatever restaurant in Nashville they wanted to go to, and then they came back and had a little nightcap with us, and then some people stayed the entire time, which was really fun as well. So I absolutely loved having that. I loved that everyone that was also local was invited to it, because I know for a rehearsal dinner, a lot of times you just invite the wedding party and out-of-town guests, but I love that everyone got to get the party started on Thursday evening, and a lot of people actually bought art from the art gallery, which I think is so exciting, because anytime I go to those like friends or family's houses and I see the art, I will remember that that was from our welcome party. It also gave people something to do instead of just like standing around and talking. They could also go around and look at all of the art and kind of start conversations with people that they might not know. They could ask them, you know, what's your favorite piece? And then they end up walking over there together, and everyone was just like mingling. Everyone was getting along so well, like people that had never met before. It just felt like such an incredible evening, so I loved that. We also had an uneven bridal party. That did not bother me in the slightest. I do not know very many couples where both of the people have the same amount of friends or family that they're close enough to that they want to be in their wedding party. If you happen to, that's absolutely awesome, but I don't think that someone should be excluded from your wedding party if they're important enough to you that you want to invite them just because the other person doesn't have that many people, or vice versa, that you have to invite people into the wedding party that you probably wouldn't because you are trying to get to a higher number to have an even bridal party. So we had uneven bridesmaids from groomsmen. It wasn't a big deal at all. We also did not have our bridal party walk down the aisle. We had them go in and just be seated with guests, but they did have reserved seats right at the very front. So we didn't have our bridal party stand up there with us, mainly because of the shape of the room, and they would have had to kind of like curve around, and we think that would have been awkward. I also know from the weddings that I have been in, I prefer when the bride has us sit rather than when she has us stand. You're standing there in heels, you're trying to take in this moment of one of the closest people in your life getting married and be so thankful and enjoy it, but also part of it is like kind of uncomfortable to be standing up there as well. So I feel like you really get to enjoy it if you're in the bridal party and you get to sit and actually just watch. So that is what we wanted to do for our bridal party. We did a first look, and we also did all of our bridal portraits before the ceremony. Our ceremony was set to start at 5:30. We told guests 5:15 just so everyone would get there on time. But it was set to start at 5:30, and we started our photos right at 3 o'clock. We actually started some bridesmaids photos before that, but then we did our first look at 3. Then we did all of our bridal party photos, so all of the bridesmaids, all of the groomsmen. Then we did all of my family. Then we did all of Grant's family. So anyone that we needed like a formal portrait with, we got done before the wedding, and that way we could enjoy cocktail hour. Now there were still some photos that we wanted to get of just the two of us that we didn't have time to do before the ceremony. So we did end up doing probably like 10 minutes of photos during the cocktail hour, but that was totally fine for us. We got to enjoy the majority of the cocktail hour. So we just had all of our extended families get the portraits beforehand, and that was perfect. We did private vows together right before the ceremony. So we did not do custom vows together during the ceremony. We just did the traditional like I do vows, but beforehand we had both written our vows to each other, and so we had a private moment in the hotel room, just the two of us, while all the guests downstairs were getting seated. It was just us, and we read our vows to each other. I was really proud because I kept the tears back. Grant didn't, he was crying. But then when I was walking down the aisle, the floodgates opened and I was like sobbing. I was like not just crying, like tears streaming down, but I was like shoulders shaking, sobbing, and I had to like compose myself. And I think it's because I had held back the tears during the vows that we had given each other. And so by the time I saw him at the end of that aisle, the dam broke and I was just sobbing. That's probably my favorite moment of the entire weekend though, were those private vows that we did together right before we walked down the aisle. We did end up doing a sweetheart table. I asked you guys about that, if you recommend a sweetheart table or a head table with all of the bridal party. Most of you said that you recommend a sweetheart table. We absolutely loved that. We got to enjoy our first meal together as husband and wife, just the two of us. And then we got up and we went around to all of the tables just to thank everyone for coming. You think that you are going to have time to do that like during cocktail hour or after dinner, but then it's loud and everyone's dancing. And so I'm really glad that we went by and went to every table individually, thanked everyone for being there, especially in a hurricane. We also did not have an unplugged ceremony sign, but we asked our officiant to please ask people not to be taking photos during the actual ceremony. I didn't mind if during cocktail hour or the reception, if anyone wanted to be taking photos or videos, but it was just during the ceremony. I don't love when you've hired professional photographers and videographers to capture the moment and you get those photos and you see people like holding up their phones, and I just think it's better to be present and actually enjoy that moment. So we hired someone to take care of that, and we told all of our guests that we would make sure to distribute all of those photos and videos to them if they wanted to personally have it. We asked them please not to be taking any photos, and everyone was great with that. Not a single person was taking photos, and everyone just really respected that. We also asked them please not to share any photos from the wedding until after we did, just because we wanted to be the ones to be able to share it, and not a single thing leaked online before I was okay with it. I had some people asking me like, hey, can I post this? And if it wasn't me in my wedding dress before I was posting me in my wedding dress, I was like, absolutely. So you might have seen like the welcome party beforehand or stuff like that, but not a single thing got out before I was ready for it to be posted, and that just felt really good. It felt like my friends and family actually like respected our decision in that. Okay, I have a few more that I would do over, and then I have some regrets that I will share with you guys. So we did not do a formal send-off or a grand exit or even fake one for the photos because we were all going to an after party. So walking distance from the Hermitage Hotel is Dirty Little Secret in Nashville, which is part of the Dream Hotel. And so we booked out a huge table area there, and that was going to be our after party. It was absolutely fantastic. Pretty much all of our guests have told us that that was like the perfect ending to the night, that they weren't ready to stop dancing, and being able to go over there and dance for a little longer and also just have like a change of scenery. It was so incredibly awesome. If anyone's in the Nashville area and looking for a venue to do an after party, Dirty Little Secret came through so incredibly. They gave everybody wristbands. It's indoors, so you don't have to worry about rain, but they gave everybody wristbands that we passed out at the wedding, so everyone just got to walk right in. There was no line. They went straight to the table. They had little like bride disco cowboy hats waiting for us. They had a sign. It was just absolutely incredible, and I wish I could do that over again like 1,000 times. After our first dance, when we knew we wanted to get everyone on the dance floor, we actually asked the DJ to please announce that we wanted a photo with everyone together on the dance floor. So that made everyone like huddle up really close together on the dance floor. And I told the photographer, this is just a ploy to get everyone on the dance floor. As soon as she took the picture, the DJ dropped the beat and everyone stayed on the dance floor and kept dancing, and it was so much fun. I did not do a bouquet toss, mainly because I was planning on giving my bouquet to my mom. I was going to do a little speech. I had it all planned out, and it didn't end up happening. The father of the bride gets to walk the bride down the aisle. The mother of the groom gets to dance with the groom, but there really isn't anything for the mother of the bride, so I wanted to give her my bouquet, so I wasn't planning on doing a bouquet toss. But then everyone was dancing, and it just felt like if I took that moment to like give a little speech, it was just gonna kind of like ruin the mood that was happening, so I didn't end up doing that, but I wish I would have done it earlier in the night before everyone started dancing. Grant and I did see each other the morning of our wedding. We had our coffee together and we spent the night together the evening before, and I absolutely loved that we had that like 30 minutes just the two of us together that morning talking about like, oh my goodness, we're getting married. We did not do formal intros to the reception. Grant and I actually went into the room first because we wanted to see it once it was all set up and stuff. And then we were in there and they like opened the doors for everyone to come in, and everyone just came in and found their seat at their table. And we didn't do anything like where we had to walk out in front of everyone and make a big deal about it. We just went straight into it. Very last one is I had 3 ring bearers. They were so freaking cute walking down the aisle. They took so long to get down the aisle. Even though we practiced it, I think once they were walking where they like knew a bunch of people in the crowd, they kept like stopping and waving, and so it took longer than the song that was being played. So the music just stops and they're still like 3/4 of the way down the aisle. They still have like a quarter left to go, and everyone's like, come on, come on. But I absolutely loved being able to watch that. Obviously on video, I didn't get to see it in person, but everyone said it was super cute. And I had 2 technically like maids of honors, or one was a maid of honor, my little sister, and my older sister was my matron of honor because she is married. Now let's get into the regrets. We did not do a formal cake cutting. That is not something that was important to me, to have our cake like photos of us cutting it. I felt like we were just going to butcher it. I'm not good at even cutting like a normal cake, so I can't imagine like a big tiered cake trying to cut that. So we just asked the hotel to go ahead and cut it and then just have all of the slices. We didn't think that they needed to be put at each person's seat because everyone was going to be on the dance floor at that point. So we just had them put it like on this long table where people could go up and get a slice whenever they wanted. We had a coffee and tea station, but no one announced that the cake was there. And it wasn't until after the wedding that everyone was like, oh, it was so cool that y'all did like a seasonal fruit tart as your wedding cake. And I was like, oh no, that just came like with our plated meal. We had to pick a dessert for everyone, but we also had a wedding cake. And everyone was like, where was the wedding cake? We realized at that moment, literally no one got a piece of wedding cake. No one. We have the top tier in our freezer because the hotel packaged it up for us, but no one got a piece of the wedding cake because no one was told that it was there. So that is definitely a regret. Another regret is that we did the speeches before the dinner instead of during dinner. They were supposed to be during dinner. I actually don't know why they weren't. Maybe dinner wasn't ready to be served, but we did the speeches before, and I felt like that just took up time because then the dinner was pushed back a little, and then that pushed back our first dances, and then that pushed back when the dance floor opened for everyone. So I just wish that that had been done while everyone was eating, but I'm sure that there was a reason for that. We also did not have wine service at dinner, which in the grand scheme of things does not matter, but we had a premium open bar and we just assumed. Mom and I didn't even ask if we were gonna have wine service at the table with dinner because we just assumed that we would. I don't think I've ever been to somewhere that had an open bar with a plated dinner that I wasn't offered like red or white wine with the glasses already on the table. We got to the table, there were no glasses on the table and wine was never offered. You could get up and go to the bar if you wanted it, which was not a big deal because we did have red and white wine. It just felt like a miss to me. Like if I knew that that wasn't going to be happening, I definitely would have requested it. And so that's something that, like I said, it's not a big deal, but I just like wanted some wine with my steak and I didn't go get it because I kept waiting for them to come offer it. So I don't know if that makes sense. My last regret is that I did not pre-plan how I was going to preserve my bouquet. The main reason is because I wasn't planning on keeping my bouquet. I thought my mom would have it. But even if my mom was gonna have it, I wish I would have planned a way to preserve it because by the time I realized that I wanted to do something to keep it, it was already wilting and dying. So I do wish that I had pre-planned that. That is it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you have any non-traditional wedding tips or things that you regretted at your wedding, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I'm hoping that as brides-to-be come to watch this video, they can kind of like use the comments to see a bunch of different suggestions and also this video, obviously. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure I will think of so many more. There might be a follow-up to this video, but I am just so excited and I have so many different wedding video ideas that I'm so excited to share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave that down in the comments and I will talk to you guys with the next one. Bye.